Hi, my name is Edmund Williams, and welcome to Leer Homestead. I'm located here in Tempe, Arizona. I live in a house that I rent. It sits on about a sixth of an acre of land. I've got about 1,000 square feet in my backyard that I'm going to use to produce food. Using the methods that I'm going to be using, that we'll be talking about here on this channel, I believe that I can produce the bulk of the food that my family needs, certainly all of the fruits and vegetables, but also enough additional to sell at local farmers markets. So how are we going to do that? In order to get the level of productivity that I need and the efficiency of space that I need, we're going to be using two philosophies, I guess, for lack of a better word. The first is going to be integrated design. That is, we're just going to look at absolutely everything. How can we get multiple levels of productivity out of every space, out of every item? It's going to be a lot of efficiency of design. The second is going to be a Leer Garden. So this system here is what I call a Leer Garden. I'll be talking more in future posts about what that is. It's something new that I've been developing. I've been growing it this way for about 6 years now. The short version of it is it's kind of like aquaponics with soil, but the soil is very, very alive, very biologically active. It's not simply just soil dumped into an aquaponic system. Like I said, I'll talk about that more later. But first, let's go ahead and do a tour here of the garden and show you guys what exactly we've got so far. So let me show you the area that we have to work with. On this side of the yard, we're actually bounded by this sidewalk. I don't want to cross that. And then if you look around over here, this whole area will eventually get built out with food production systems. I'm still under construction, so sorry about the little bit of mess, but I do have the first phase up and operational. And let me kind of walk you through it a little bit. First of all, let me kind of explain what's going on here. This is actually a little fire pit that I built for making biochar, but it's also, since it's winter time here, take a little bit of the stress off of my heaters, especially on the cold nights. I use this thing, the heat from making the biochar, to heat the pond. So this here is the pond. This is the base of the whole thing. It's the sump tank for those of you who are a little bit more technically minded. As the water drains down out of the garden beds, it collects here where it can be pumped back up into the system. I've also got it set up with gutters. The gutter outlet is right above the tank, so that when it's raining, I can capture the rainwater directly into the tank. I've got it set up with a float valve so that it'll be automatically watering as it uses water. So let me kind of walk you through how the system is hooked up here. So the first step here is the pump. This pipe here is connected to a pump, and every so often the pump turns on and it pumps the water up to the main tank. So let me show you how that works. Okay, so over on this side I have two IBC tanks. These are where the bulk of the fish live. I don't have tilapia in here right now, but I will sometime within the next couple of weeks. Each of these tanks can hold somewhere in the general vicinity of about 100 tilapia. I'm eventually going to have 4. Right now I just have 2. So as the water pumps in, I don't know if you can see up here, probably not because of the sun. As the water pumps in, the water level rises. It rises up. The tank is connected to the base of it, so it sucks any sediment that collects on the bottom of the tank. It rises up through this pipe, comes through here, and drains down into the garden bed. From there, it flows through the garden bed, watering the plants. The fish waste fertilizes the plants. There's a little bit of a slope on the tank so that it keeps everything moist but well drained. It drains back down to this side. From here, there's a drain in the end of the bed here that drops down and runs right through the chicken tank, the chicken coop. There's a tank in here that the chickens drink out of. It gets flushed every single time the water runs, and then it drains back down into the sump tank. So the plants are an integrated part of the whole system. The fish are an integral part. The
chickens are partially integrated.
So as you can see, we have a lot to unpack on this channel. We're going to talk about gardening. We're going to talk about gardening specifically in a Leer garden. We're going to talk about growing fish. We're going to talk about taking care of plants. We're going to talk about cooking. We're going to talk about keeping chickens and how to feed them and good ways to manage them. We're going to talk about construction as we build this out. I'll walk you through the process of how I'm doing, what I'm doing, and just about anything else that goes along with it. So subscribe, come on back. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Thanks.